I'm a public speaker as well. Okay, I'm a public speaker as well. So what we're doing with this workshop is to help you improve your confidence when you're speaking. I know you'll be thinking, oh, I'm young. I don't know why I need this. I'm speaking already. But I'm speaking and speaking. If you want to go further in your career, if you want to do well at school, if you just want this little extra in your life when it comes to communication with your family at school, or some of you are already in college, if you're doing a placement or if you're working, it's very important to learn the art of communication. So today we're going to cover a few things. We're going to start with an icebreaker like we did last time. We're going to do a quick recap from the last session. So I hope some of you remember what we did, because I'll be asking questions. I'll see who listens and who doesn't. And then the key topic will be the fundamentals of communication. And today we're going to talk about clarity. Last week we talked about confidence and fears. As part of that, we're going to see how you organize your thoughts, what is your message you want people to know about, how to speak at a comfortable pace, and active listening. And then I'll give you a small exercise to do, possibly at home. So I'm going to start with a proverb. I love quotes and proverbs. Sometimes it bears loads of learning. And this one is an African proverb. So I'm African. My origins are in Africa, and I'm really proud of that. In Africa, you have what they call proverbs. Here they say quotes, but we love saying proverbs. And sometimes in the olden days, you had older people who were wiser, and they used to say very, very interesting things. So this is something about communication. And it says, communication does not work when two people speak at the same time. It's very straightforward, isn't it? I can see two people raising their hand. Yes, Messi.
What's a proverb?
A proverb is, do you know what a quote is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, a proverb is exactly like that. It's a quote. So it's something someone said, and they were very famous from saying it. So sometimes, especially with African proverbs, sometimes there isn't an author, as in somebody who exactly say that, but cultures, we remember our grandparents saying that, we remember our parents saying that, we remember our great grandparents saying that. So a proverb is a say that is very useful. It's a proverb can be something simple, could be it's a good idea to wash your hands before using them, or before eating with your hands, or something like that. So, but you have something on the screen here that says communication does not work when two people speak at the same time. It simply means that if you want to communicate with somebody, you let them speak. You speak in turn. It's like if you're in a classroom with your teacher and the teacher says something, you're not going to speak at the same time as your teacher, would you? You won't speak at the same time as your teacher. You let your teacher speak, and then you raise your hand and you will speak, like what we've done at the last session. And you guys are very well mannered. You wait for me to speak, and when you want to speak, you raise your hand or you click the raise hand button. So when communication is done in that manner, it's very productive. So let's move on. Icebreaker. Icebreaker, I'm sure some of you know the icebreaker game, Would You Rather? Yeah? So let's have a few things here. So the first one is, would you rather only charge your phone once a week or not have a camera on your phone? You can mute yourself, or you can put that in the chat box. What would you rather do? Yes, Fifi? You can unmute yourself, Ife. You're still on mute.
I would rather only charge my phone once a week.
You'd rather charge your phone once a week and not have a camera. That's very good. Thank you. And Messi?
I'd rather have a phone than charge my camera.
Well done. You'd rather charge your phone than have your camera. Well done. Thank you. Whitney?
I'd rather not have a camera on my phone because what's the point if you can only charge your phone once a week?
That's very good. You guys are very wise. But you know, you never know. People may want to have the camera and not charging their phone. So we have praise in the chat box who added charge phone once a week, charge phone, no camera. And so we have here Bumi said charge phone, Joshua, no camera, Odriel. I only charge my phone once a week because I can't live without looking. I can live without looking in a camera. Okay, that's fine. I'd rather say Feme saying I'd rather not have a camera because I don't even like taking pictures and need my phone. That's good. Marvelous says, I'll charge my phone and no camera. Wow. All of you went for no camera and charging your phone. I think that's wise, isn't it? Like somebody just said, Whitney just said, what's the point in having a camera if your phone is not charged? So that's very clever. Okay, the second one. Let's have a look. The second one is, would you rather be the oldest child or the youngest child? Fife?
I'd rather be the youngest child.
Why?
You are the youngest.
I'd rather be the youngest child because it's good to know that you're the youngest out of all your siblings, and you don't know if bad memories might happen before, and if you were just like a toddler, it would be good because you won't really understand.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Fife. Whitney?
I'd rather be the youngest because being the oldest is hard. I'm not oldest and it's really hard. Being the youngest, you can just do whatever you want.
All right, okay, interesting. But just to say, I mean, I'm not dismissing what you're saying, but there are beauties of being the oldest and there are beauties of being the youngest. But yeah, I appreciate what you're saying. Messi, you want to unmute yourself, Messi? You're on mute.
I'd rather be the oldest child because I want to use my phone and I just want to be grown up.
You just want to be a grown-up, okay? That's really good, fair enough. So you see their benefits as well. Rebecca?
I'd rather be the youngest because when I was 10, I had more responsibilities. But now my little sister's 10 and she just had to do the same things that I did.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's good. Thank you for sharing. So Fife, I can see your hand up again. Do you want to add something? Oh, is that an old hand?
That's both of them choices are good, but I'd rather be the middle child because in case you want to be younger to do your old memories or be older to see what's in the future.
That's true. That's a good one as well. You know, the middle child, you're the youngest and you're the oldest at the same time. You have the best of both, isn't it? That's great. Thank you for sharing. So I can see in the chat box as well, we have some answers. So Bumi says oldest, Faithful says oldest, Odriel says oldest. Okay, we have a lot of oldest. Sindara says oldest. Praise says youngest because it's less responsibility. Bumi said, all this because if you're younger, then you will always that they will always accept you to live up to all the siblings' accomplishments. Yeah, that's true. Feme says youngest. Okay. So yeah, that's great. Thank you very much for sharing your views, children. It's there's no right or wrong answer. But
I'd like to become
it's
the oldest because I want to try by myself.
you want to travel by yourself. Yeah, that's true. Eventually, you know, when you get to the right age, you can travel by yourself. So yeah, that's very good. Thank you. So the last one here, and would you rather, is would you rather eat spicy wings or bite into ice cream? That's a good one. So yes, Messi,
I'd rather bite into ice cream.
rather bite into ice cream. You're not a spicy person. No. Okay, thank you. Whitney?
I'd rather have spicy wings. I love spicy chicken.
Oh, do you? All right. Okay. Yeah, spicy wings are delicious. Thank you, Fife.
I
Yeah.
would eat spicy wings, but after I could just use the ice cream to cool my mouth down in case the wings get spicy.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So a bit of both. So spicy wings. If it's too hot, you use the ice cream to cool your. Yeah, that's very good. Thank you. Sidara.
I eat spicy wings because I don't like biting into ice cream. The coldness on my teeth, I don't like it. So I rather
Yeah,
spicy wings.
exactly. Spicy wings, because yeah, if your teeth are sensitive, then it's a challenge, isn't it? Biting into ice cream. So we don't want that. Messi, did you want to add something? I can see your hand is still raised up.
I would like to eat both.
You like to eat both. Well done.
That wasn't me. It was someone else.
Okay, yeah, I noticed. So yeah. So Messi, do you want to add something?
I'd rather eat both. Just in case my tongue gets spicy, I'll just use the ice cream to cool off.
You use the ice cream to cool off. That's a good idea as well. So we have other responses in the chat box. Joshua says spicy wings, Faithful spicy wings, Bumi spicy wings, Efeme spicy wings, Odriel spicy wings all the way. Oh my lord. There's the major spicy wings is winning, isn't it? So it's spicy wings. So we have a here, spicy wings. Yeah, I would rather eat spicy wings myself as well. So great, we have a good start. So I'm just going to jump onto what the next slide is what we did last week. So last week we talked about confidence and fear. Can anyone remember what we did last week, what we talked about when we mentioned confidence and fear? Messi, is your hand up because you want to answer the question?
That was by mistake.
It's okay. Can anyone remember anything? Did you go home thinking about the session we did? Yes, Vive.
Last week we talked about how confidence is okay as long as you give it your best try. That's all that matters.
Well done. Thank you very much. That's a really good summary of what we did. Somebody else wants to have a go? Remember, this is a communication session, so don't be shy or afraid to raise your hand and speak. If you want to stay off camera, it's fine. Nobody sees you, but we are trying to build your confidence. So please unmute yourself and say something. It's good to put a message in the chat box as well, but remember what we're trying to do here. We're trying to raise your confidence in speaking in front of people. So yes, Messi, you want to say something?
I'd rather be confident than be afraid.
Okay, so yeah, You've used the game we've played to answer the question, which is clever. But yeah, we talked about confidence. And I suppose, yeah, you're just saying that you'd rather be confident, which is good. And you want to remove or reduce your fears. That's very good. I saw someone else raising their hand. Was it Davis? I saw
Yeah.
your hand up 2 seconds. Do you want to come in, Davis?
Yeah. We learned about how confidence can help you to speak out loud.
Well done. Yeah. Confidence can help you to speak out loud because it gives you that boost. Well done. Thank you. It shows you were listening. Can we have somebody else, the last person? Maybe. Again, please don't be shy. We're here to learn. We're all learning. So nobody is going to say, if you say something wrong, no answer is wrong. So be brave and raise your hand. I can't see people, so if you're physically raising your hand, I may not see you if you are not on camera. If you want to come on camera and physically raise your hand like this so I can see you is fine. Otherwise, I may not see you, so you may want to unmute yourself. Any last person who's brave enough? Yeah, Messi?
We were also talking about how to chase your fears away and how to like be confident.
Yeah, exactly. So we talked about a few techniques on how to reduce your fears and be more confident. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. So I think you've said most of it. We talked about believing in yourself. Believing in yourself is very important. We talked about developing relaxation techniques, briefing techniques. If you're about to speak or do a presentation in class, briefing is very important. We talked about visualizing your success. So if you want to do something and you want to believe that it's going to work, you need to think that it's working already and that you are succeeding in your presentation and that you're having a great presentation. Fife, do you want to come in and add something?
Something about laughing, to say
I didn't hear that. Would you like to repeat it?
don't let the negative get to you, let the positive get to you.
Exactly. Well done. Yeah. So we mentioned about the negative, don't let the negative get to you. And yeah, that's when we talked about the positive affirmations, always be positive and don't let the negatives get to you because it slows you down, doesn't it? It slows you down. So that's very good. And we also talked about, I mean, you've mentioned it already, understanding your fears. Why are you afraid? And how can you reframe your mindset? How can you tell yourself, I'm not afraid, I can do this? So that's what we did. Now we're going to continue with the fundamentals of communication. Public speaking is about good communication, and these are the fundamentals. Again, we've talked about confidence. Today we're talking about clarity. What is clarity? When you're talking about something or you want to talk about something, before I continue, I hope some of you are taking notes. So every time we have a session, I hope you have a pen and a paper so that when I ask you at the following session or at the next session, what did we do? I have more volunteers to raise their hands and tell me what we did. But most importantly, is because at the end of the program, when we have some of you to volunteer, then you can remember what were the steps and the steps you need to take in giving a good speech, because I want you guys to learn from now how to speak confidently. So what is clarity? So when you're talking or when you're communicating, you want your ideas to be very clear. You want your thoughts to be very clear. So in other words, is what do you want to say? If you want to talk about football, do you think what you're saying about football is going to make sense to people who are listening to you? Because if you talk about football and you start by saying, I don't know, he ran and kicked the ball people don't understand who ran, where was it, what game was it. They don't understand that. So you need to be clear in your conversation. If the teacher asks you to explain, I don't know, some of you are already in high school. If they ask you to explain, if you're doing math, for example, and they want you to, I'm not really good at math, so it's probably not a good example I'm going to take there. They can ask you to explain how you got ready, how you woke up in the morning and got ready. If you just say, I got up from my bed and I found myself in school, it doesn't make sense, does it? Because people will be thinking, okay, I've asked you to tell me about how you got up, from your bed and got ready and how did you get to school, and you're just telling me you got up from your bed and you found yourself in school. People will be like, oh, what is he saying? It doesn't make any sense. We don't understand how they got from their bed to school. So it's important you think about the message you want to say. And in doing that, you need to use a structure. So what is the beginning? What is the middle? What is the end? Usually, beginning, you say introduction, the middle, you say the key points, end is the conclusion. So let's talk about if somebody asks you, how do what do you do in the morning before you get to school? Can you tell me, how you get to school from when you wake up until when you find yourself in school? So at the beginning, you want to say, if you're not on mute, can you put yourself on mute, please? Because I can hear background noise. It's just so that everyone can benefit from the information being shared.
How to build your confidence.
Can you put yourself on mute if you're not on mute, please?
Tell me what to do. It's your table.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So I was talking about using a structure. If you're going to tell somebody what you did this morning before getting to school, you can say something like, introduction, I woke up, brushed my teeth, and yeah, you woke up from your bed. Maybe you want to say more about how you woke up. Maybe your mom woke you up out of your bed and you went on to have your shower and brushed your teeth and cleaned yourself. Um, and maybe you want to continue by saying, so the key point will be you got ready, you got your breakfast. Maybe you made your breakfast yourself. Maybe you made your cereals. Maybe you want to say how you made your cereals. You got the cereals from the cupboard and pour that in a bowl and milk, and you warm the milk. I don't know how you do your cereal. Or maybe you had a toast and you want to tell people how you did your toast. And maybe the end is how you got in the car and your mom or your dad got you to school, or if you're walking to school, how you left your home and you walked 15 minutes, and maybe you can describe what was on the way before you got to school. So your conversation is structured. If you tell somebody in that manner how you got to school, they're not just thinking, all right, oh, he woke up. Let me take the example of Davis because I can see Davis. They can say, oh, Davis woke up from his bed and found himself in school. How did he get there? We don't know how he got there. We don't know if he had breakfast this morning. We don't know if he had a shower. We don't know if he walked. But if you speak in a structured manner like that, they can understand this is what he did first, that's what he did second, and this is what he did last. So it makes sense. Sometimes you can organize your thoughts around instructions. Let's say you play football. Some of you play football or netball. You have techniques. If they tell you if you want to score a goal, you need to make good passes. You need to, depending on your position, you need to give the ball to the striker. I'm not very good at football, so I may be wrong. But they can ask you to kick the ball to the left, I don't know, the right. You can't kick the ball from one pole to another. They're not going to ask the goalkeeper, for example, to kick the ball to the other goal, although it happened in the past that some keepers kick the ball and they scored, from their goal post, which is amazing. But you can be following instructions. you can follow instruction. What sort of instructions can you have? I don't know, it can be netball. I mentioned netball as well. Netball, they can ask you to do 2 passes or 3 passes, or make sure that if you have the ball doesn't fall. Or it can be anything where the steps are very clear, and somebody asks you to, let's say, talk to them about football. How do you get to score a goal? And you give the steps. First, I get the ball and I check to see where the midfielder is and see if I can pass the ball to the midfielder or the striker. And I run left if I see an opportunity to the left or the right, and so on and so forth. So it's logical. You have steps, and somebody can understand how you went from A to Z. You don't just go from A to Z, you go A, B, C, D, and so on and so on. So you want people to understand that, and that's what clarity means. It means you explain what you are saying so that you break it down so that people understand it. So while I'm speaking, if you have any question, please feel free to put that in the chat box, and I will answer your question as I go along. Okay, so the next thing here, it's about the message. So we talked about the structure. What do you want to say, and how are you saying it? Davis, are you raising your hand? Do you want to ask a question? No, okay. So what's your message? What is your message? Make sure you know what you want to communicate before you start talking. Sometimes you listen to people saying things, and to be honest, you don't have a clue what they're saying because they didn't think without opening their mouth. You know, they just started talking and realized, oh, what I'm saying doesn't make sense. So if you want your message to be clear, make sure you think about what you want to say before you communicate it, because otherwise you may not have the right words. Miscommunication happens because some people don't use the words correctly. The teacher can ask you about a homework, and maybe you've not done the homework, or maybe you've done the homework, but you can be quick to answer and you give the wrong answer, or you think, oh, maybe they've asked about something you did not, they did not ask about. So it's about listening as well. So make sure you know what you want to communicate. You can be in some of you do debating in class. If you are in a debating group or a debate group, or you're doing a debate, you need to wait for somebody to say something or give their argument before you give a counter argument. Some of you have done that in primary school, haven't you? So you can't say something, or it's in a conversation, you can't, if the topic is talking about the weather, if you go off topic and start talking about ice cream, people will be thinking, oh, okay, what are they talking about? We're talking about the weather, and it's talking about ice cream. So think about what you want to say before you say it. Focus on one main idea at a time. You'll get your message across more clearly. So you may have a lot to talk about. You want to talk about football. You want to talk about traveling to Japan. Some of you a few weeks ago said they wanted to travel to Japan and South Korea. So if, let's say, someone asks you, what do you like? And then you say, oh, I like football. I like Japan. I like going shopping. I like eating. Maybe it's just good to talk about the two most important things you like, so that you can give argument, you can explain why you like that. I like Japan because I've read ABC about Japan, and I love to visit Japan. I love to go to this place in Japan. And the person will have a better understanding of why you love Japan. If you're saying you love football, you can take your time, again, focus on one idea. Why do you like football? Again, there are many reasons why you can like football. Maybe it's because you want to be with young boys like yourself, because you share the same passion. Then you can say that one idea and develop that. Maybe it's because you want to stay healthy, and then you say why you want to stay healthy. So depending on where you are, depending on the setting where you are, whether you're in church, whether you're at home, whether you're in school, it's important to be focused. Focus on one idea or two ideas and make sure you explain why you're sharing the idea you're sharing. So your message has to be clear, because if you talk about too many things at once, people may not understand what exactly you want to say, and they may not even understand what you want. Okay. So the next one is speak at a comfortable pace. Okay, before I continue with the next one, can I just ask if anyone has a question on the two things we've talked about, how to organize what you want to say and know what you want to say before you start talking? Do you have any question or comments? Do you understand what I mean? Has it happened to you that you wanted to say something and you had too much ideas in your head and you got confused? Tell me. Let's see who's brave. Okay, yes, Fife?
So last class, I told you about how me and my class are having a competition for poems. The thing is, there's gonna be a lot of people, and I think I might get stage fright, cause last time I did.
All right, thank you very much for sharing, Fife. Yeah, and it's good that you're using a practical example like that, isn't it? Because I'm sure you have practical examples in your everyday life. And yes, I remember you told us about the presentation, and it's good to see that you're already using one of the learning to apply that in that presentation. So well done. Does anyone wants to say something else? Do you think you can, is there any moment, any situation where you think, oh, I can make my message clearer, maybe I need to think before I talk, or maybe I've had too many ideas? Yes, Davis.
So, situation where you think that you need to think before you speak is like, for example, if someone tries to ask you for help, and they say, for example, can you help me with maths? You probably need to think before you say anything, because you might give them the wrong answer, and then they might.
They might get it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, Davis. That's a good example as well. And I really, this example is very useful because you're talking about useful information you're passing on to somebody, so it's true. It's very important to think about what you're going to say, because if you don't say the right thing, then you're leading them, to commit a mistake, isn't it? If, like you said, you want to ask them if they want to, if they ask you a question about math and you know the answer, but you want to take your time and think before you give them an answer. Because if they trust you and they take your answer for, like, okay, Davis told me this, and that, and they go to school tomorrow, it may be your younger sibling asking you, can you help me with this? How do you resolve this equation, for example? And if you give them the wrong answer, they may go to school and provide the wrong answer, and they'll be disappointed, isn't it? So you want to take your time and make sure that you communicate a clear and correct answer and think about it. So yeah, thank you very much for that example. Anyone would like to add something else? So have you ever thought about the structure of your, so when you're saying something, do you feel like there's too much you want to say? And has anyone ever told you, but what are you saying? I don't understand your story. Where is the beginning? I don't understand how you get there or how you got there. Did anyone ever say that? Especially when you're very excited, isn't it? You want to tell a story to a friend, and before you know, you jump to the end. Yeah, has anyone ever had that? Yeah, no, you can't think of anything.
Hold on, what was the question again?
Sorry.
What was the question again?
Yeah, I'm asking have you ever been in a situation where you're with your friends and you're so excited to tell a story that you just jump to the end?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. It happens a lot, isn't it? Because you really want them to know what has happened, or you want to tell them about a movie, and you just jump to the end and say, "Oh, this is what happened at the end," and they're a bit disappointed. They're like, "But how did that happen? You didn't tell me what triggered, what was the beginning, what was the end?" Yeah, so yes, CR7 says yes as well. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. So, oops, I went. So now let's talk about speaking at a comfortable pace. So if I was to speak to you and I say, yes, hello, everybody, how are you? This is what we're going to do today. Today we're going to talk about da, 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 da. Would that make any sense? No, it wouldn't, would it? You'll be thinking, what's that auntie talking about? She's talking so fast, we can't even, she's not pausing. We don't know what she's just said. It wouldn't be interesting, isn't it? So you want me to speak to you in a way that you can process the information in your head. And this is what we mean. This is what we mean when we say talking at a comfortable pace. Everybody has their pace. Some people speak very fast. Some people speak very slow. Or some people speak, it just depends how you speak. Sometimes we're born with some features. But when we talk about public speaking and we talk about the art of communication, it's important to speak at a pace that everybody can understand. So if you speak too quickly, for example, if you speak too quickly, it can be hard for others to catch what you mean. So it's not very interesting. They won't get you, really. So it's important to take little pauses because it can really help everyone to keep up and understand you better. Plus, it makes the conversation feel more relaxed and friendly. So that's what we want, isn't it? You know, you want to be able to speak and have someone to understand. And you need to understand as well that not everybody has the same ability. So some people are disabled and they need time to process information. So when you're speaking, you need to take into consideration, you may be speaking, they may not be disabled, they may be older people, they may be your grandparents, maybe who are from Africa and they don't understand your accent very well. So they want you to speak slowly so they can have a conversation with you. But regardless of who you're speaking with, it's important to speak at a comfortable pace. So can somebody tell me another benefit of not speaking too quickly? So if you speak too quickly, what else could happen? Just give me examples. Yes, so I can see someone raising his hand. Is it Ronaldinho? Okay, I have some footballers on the screen today. So Ronaldinho, tell me.
Okay, so if you speak too quickly, you might forget what like line you're in. And you might even confuse yourself as well.
That's true. That is absolutely true. If you speak too quickly, you get yourself confused. Like, oh my God, what did I just say? I don't remember what I said. And it's not good, is it? Because you lose your thoughts and yeah, you just get confused. Thank you. Fife?
You could start talking really fast, then lose the line you want, and then you might feel embarrassed because there's a lot of people watching you. But the thing that is good is at least you tried your best to not make any mistakes.
Well done. Yeah, I like that as well. So, yeah, if you speak too quickly, you may embarrass yourself, and that's not good. But although it's not good, like you said, I really like what you added there. At least you've tried. So, if you remember, we talked about this last time when we talk about confidence. So, for some of you, and this is where you're practicing it here, it's okay not to know everything. It's okay to mess up a bit, but at least you've tried. So, yeah, don't speak too quickly. But if you put yourself out there and you speak too quickly and you feel embarrassed, just tell yourself it's okay. Tap yourself on the shoulder because you have tried. So, well done on that. Um, all right. Another footballer, mini Messi or mini Neymar, you need to make up your mind. So go on, mini Neymar.
Um, so I think that I forgot.
Yeah, so what is it? If you speak too quickly, what may happen?
Something bad might go wrong.
Yeah, something may go wrong. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that you can forget your words, you can maybe because you're worried, you're anxious. If you remember one of the we last week we talked about the relaxation techniques. Sometimes people speak fast because they're anxious. They're like, oh my God, I need to speak quick, 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 and leave the screen. So yeah, something bad may happen, mostly because you're anxious. So take some time, take some time for yourself, relax, breathe, tell yourself everything is fine, and everything will be fine. Davis, you can unmute yourself, Davis.
If you speak too quickly, people might start having trouble hearing you, and then you might not speak anymore because people don't understand you.
Exactly, yeah. If you speak too quickly, yeah, people will not understand you. And it's good because I like it how you guys are coming up with all these ideas, and you can see why it's dangerous to speak too quick. So yeah, thank you again. Well done on that. And thank you for all of you who are participating. That is you being brave. And from one session to another, we can see more people participating. And I love that. So we have Udoka. Do you want to unmute yourself?
If you talk too fast, you might not have a point. You might like not have a point, and then people might not get what you might not have a good point, and people might not get what you're saying because you didn't think it through.
Exactly. That's true as well. If you talk too fast, you may not have a good point. Again, it's because you can lose yourself in whatever you're saying, isn't it? Because you're not thinking it through. Maybe you didn't really think before talking. Maybe you're just saying things coming out of your brain as they're forming. So yeah, you may forget and you may not make sense. So yeah, that is very good. Again, thank you very much. Fife?
Another point is someone could have not as practice for a competition and doesn't know the word and is speaking too fast, and they might want to take inspiration to you, and it's their turn to go, and they might say the same thing you did and rush.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you're rushing, you may end up saying the same things, isn't it? You may end up repeating yourself, and that's not very good. Because otherwise people will be looking at you thinking, but she's saying that already. But because you're talking so fast, you're not really thinking, and you're not you don't remember that you say that already. But having said so, speaking too fast is not a massive, like I said, some people speak naturally very fast. As long as they're comfortable and as long as they can organize their thoughts, it's good for them. But the most important thing I want you to remember here is that it's important to organize your thoughts. And if you're going to speak in front of people, take your time, don't rush. If the less you rush, the less quick you speak, the more a better outcome you'll have. Yeah, Udoka is adding in the chat box as well. You will be seen as rude. Yes, sometimes you may be seen as rude because people are thinking, oh, she's not really, or he or she is not paying attention to us. And sometimes in doing so, maybe somebody had a question, but because you just want to talk fast, 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 you may forget what you say, and they may forget their questions, or you may just ignore them. So that's very good. So let's move on to the next slide. So active listening for clearer conversation. So I think I've mentioned this already. So when you are having, whether it's a speech you're having, so you can see the young boy standing there. So it's this picture and the young girl. What I want you in a few months, I want you to be like these two young people standing in front of a microphone like this and speaking to a crowd of people. And you never know, you can do that in church as well. You can do that in different places. So yeah, Ronaldinho, you've raised your hand. I don't know if that's do you have a question?
Can I share something?
Go on.
So my mom said that in church that we're having a dance competition in front of the whole church. So, and I said, Mommy, let me, my sisters, go for it. Then she now said yes. Then we started practicing at home. So after we finished practicing, everybody liked us. And that's it.
All right. Oh, well done. I mean, it's good because you were brave enough to put yourself out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was a dance competition, nobody chose you, but you said, okay, I'm going to put myself and my siblings in front of everyone. And I'm sure it was, have you done it already?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure many people loved it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well done for that. I saw Davis raising his hand earlier.
I think he took it down.
All right. I don't know if it was an old hand, Davis, but let me know. If not, Rebecca, you have your hand up.
Yeah, basically in school, I'm a well-being ambassador. So every week I get to do an assembly in front of each year group.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. You're a well-being ambassador. So again, public speaking and speaking skills is going to build you up in that role. I mean, first of all, congratulations on taking on such a responsibility at your school. And the fact that you're doing it already. So the only thing I can encourage you to do, because you've been brave putting yourself out there and doing something like that, I can only encourage you to nurture your skill, work on your skills, so that you become, a better. I'm sure you're already a good communicator, but you can become a better communicator. So thank you for sharing that, and well done again. So yeah, it just leads us in the next, the last slide, active listening. Depending on the role you have, or depending, so I'm just going to stick with Rebecca and the example of being a well-being ambassador. Sometimes you want to listen as well, especially in a role like that. Listening is very important. When you're talking, whether you have a conversation, whether you have a presentation, because at the end of the presentation, people will be asking you questions. active listening is part of good communication. So take a moment to really listen before you jump in, before jumping in. So if there's a debate and people are sharing their views, before you tell somebody, oh no, you're wrong, or your view, I don't agree with your view, you need to make sure that you understood what they said. Feel free to repeat or summarize what you've heard to make sure we're on the same page. So sometimes one of the technique of active listening is to say, oh, you've just said you like football. Is that correct? Oh, you've just said you're a well-being ambassador. Am I correct in saying that? Or, so you repeat the question, or you repeat the statement, or you repeat or summarize the statement to make sure that you've heard. Because people love it when they know you're listening to them. If you're not listening to them, your parents, I'm sure, love it when you listen to them. Your teachers will love it when you listen to them, and your active listeners, you make sure that they know that you've been listening to them. So it's very important. Can somebody tell me of a time when they actively listened? Yes, Rebecca.
When I'm planning like a meeting for like well-being ambassadors, I have to like listen to other people's ideas, so like pick what topic we're going to do about.
Well done. Yeah, that's a very good example as well, especially in that role. You have to listen to everyone and make sure that you take their views into consideration. So that is a very, very important part of communication again. Thank you. Ronaldinho?
So there I have a football club I play for. So we had a match against another team. I forgot their name. And my coach said that, which is my dad, my coach said that that I should every time go for the ball and try get clear it earlier. So when I did that, he said that he was so proud of me, and I was so happy.
Oh, that's really good. So you can see what active listening can bring to you. It can make people around you happy. In this case, he made your dad very happy, and he made you happy as well, because when your dad is happy, you're happy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So active listening has loads and loads of benefits, and it makes you grow. It makes you grow as a wiser child and teenager and adolescent and, an adult. So thank you very much, Fife.
So, for example, in my friend group at school, right, I usually talk to most, but when me and one of my friends are talking at the same time, I just usually let them talk first and then I'll talk later.
Oh, that's very wise, isn't it? That's very good. So we mentioned earlier, there's a quote, the African proverb saying, if two people talk at the same time, then there's no communication, isn't it? So, and you've put that in practice already. If your friends are all talking at the same time, you sit back, you listen, and then you come in, and you'll probably be the wiser person in the group. So well done again on doing that. So it brings us to the end of the session. I'm going to leave you with this. I don't know if you want to write it down or take a picture, but no, you have access to the learning on the platform. So I want you to practice a small speech about making a sandwich, and do that in front of a parent or your siblings. So it's about you using the learnings we've used above. How do you practice your how are you going to structure the speech? Are you going to start from the beginning? What do you do when you're making a sandwich? Do you just find yourself in front of a piece of bread with butter and ham on it? What do you do? How do you start? What else do you put in there? Do you wash your hands and so on and so forth? So practice something. When next time, if someone is brave enough, they can have 5 minutes when we're starting to tell us to give us a small speech on how to make a sandwich. So that's a challenge for you all. You can do that in front of your so yeah, you can post the record. You can post that and on the Google Classroom as well. Yeah, so if you do a recording of you practicing making a sandwich, you can post that in the Google Classroom. That is absolutely fine. It's the beginning, so we can see already how it's going to be on the last day when you're doing. So please, please, please practice. This is how you're going to get better. So yes, R9, you've raised your hand.
Is this our homework?
Yeah, this is your homework. This is your homework. Okay. So practice, post that in the Google Classroom, and then we will see. We'll see what you've been doing. So other than that, thank you very much, children. So if you want to put in the chat box, if you've enjoyed the session, have you enjoyed the session? You can put a thumbs up, you can put it in the chat box. Just say one thing about the session. How was this session today, the public speaking session? If there's anything you want me to do, let me know. So I'll just give you a minute to either post something in the chat box. Is everyone posting something in the chat box? Did you like this session today? Or you can just put one word, enjoyed it, good. Yes, okay, that's a big long yes. I'm happy. That's great. Okay, so thank you very much, children. And have a lovely weekend. Remember, put this in practice. Even at home, you can start putting that in practice with your parents, with your siblings, at school, with your friends. You can use this in your everyday life. And again, I'm going to encourage all of you who took your time this morning to join the session and learn. Learning is a very important part of life. So well done to you, well done to your families, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time. So I'm going to hand over to Dr. Titus.
Thank you so very much, Sandy. Thank you. Thank you. We all enjoyed the class. Thanks so much. So please let's ensure we do the homework as we've been told. Can post the video on Google Classroom. And even for the other lesson on Python, please let's make sure we practice. We have posted all the recordings of the previous lessons. We're also going to post the recording of this lesson today. Thank you so very much. Enjoy your weekend. Have the best of your time. All right. God bless you all. Bye.